Hey guys, how you doing? Talking carbs and weight loss today. I'm going to talk about this after I get back from the gym. Going to the gym with my man Bevan. I'm going to do full body training. It's going to be pretty awesome. I'm going to be doing some squats, weighted chins, just everything. Just trying to really work on progressive overload and maintaining my physique, like volume and intensity. So the amount of effort I'm putting in regards to the gym, whilst I'm bringing my calories down from a bulk to maintenance, still trying to maintain that current muscle mass and just overall my physique in general, not lose too much weight. I've lost about 3 to 4 kilos in the last 2 weeks, so that should taper off quite soon. And after the workout, I'll talk about how much energy the body stores with carbohydrates, and in regards to intake of carbohydrates and how much water stores to the carbohydrates, and how this affects weight loss in initial phases and why it's so drastic, and then why it tapers off and why weight loss is not linear. All right, so enjoy the edit, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. So sick workout, feeling good. All right, so we're talking about carbs and weight loss. So generally when you eat in a calorie deficit, when you go on a diet, generally carbs make up half your diet. So the general consensus is to cut carbs down, because obviously cutting down fats and proteins isn't really ideal, because carbs aren't really an essential nutrient. They are at some point within performance, but in overall health and longevity, they aren't. So they're not 100% required. And generally when you go into a calorie deficit, when you go onto a diet, it's generally a low carb diet or some form of slashing of your current carbohydrate intake. So with cutting your carbohydrate intake, you lose a lot of weight in the first 1 to 3 weeks of weight loss. So a general recommendation for weight loss is 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. Okay, so if you're 100 kilos, you lose 2 weeks the first week. You lose 2 kilos the first week, 1.5 the next week, and then you taper off at 1, and then go down to half a kilo each week. Therefore, after, you have to take into consideration you're not the same starting weight. You have less body weight. You probably have less free fat mass in your body and more lean body mass. So weight loss isn't going to be linear. It's going to be up and down. And obviously you hit weight loss plateaus and you have a diet break and you go back up and you go back down. It's going to fluctuate. But in the overall scheme, you're going to start here and you're going to be down here. That's the end goal. The end goal is long term. It's not short term, and it's about maintaining that goal. So with slashing the carbohydrates, you lose so much weight initially. People call it water weight, but basically when you consume carbohydrates, you maintain. When you consume carbohydrates, for every gram of carbohydrate, you retain 3 grams of water. Hence, when you have something very carb based, like say pizza or something, you look very bloated and you feel like a lot heavier. It's just the fact that carbs hold on to so much water. So generally when you cut carbs, you're cutting out half that water retention as well. Okay, here's a study here. And then when you look at weight loss, you don't actually start cutting into the fat until you've actually burnt through what's currently in your intestines, what you've eaten for the day roughly, or you ate the night before, and then you get into muscle glycogen, which comes from carbohydrates, which is that water, which is used in the form of ATP, CP, which is adenzo triphosphate, creatine phosphate, which is a muscle. That ATP, CP is a contraction and the relaxation of muscles. So that's how your muscles, the myosin and actin, work, which is pretty much your muscle fibers moving. So muscle fibers contract, they relax, and that's a chemical process. And this form of chemical process comes from carbohydrates. Not all the time, it can come from fats and proteins, but primarily if you do consume carbohydrates, the majority of that energy will come from carbs. So when you cut carbs out, generally you won't have glucose to support this. So when you consume carbohydrates, it goes through a process called the Krebs process. And then this is broken down pretty much from carbohydrates to glucose. Glycogen, glucose, roughly the same thing. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but just understand that glucose is energy, usable energy. Glycogen is what you use for daily activities like everything, movement, lifting weights, like just living and moving, bowel movements, breathing, just everything. That's usable energy. So when you eat a calorie deficit, you got to get through that glycogen. So generally when you cut through that weight loss, that water weight, which is that glycogen and general food you've eaten throughout the day and all that kind of stuff, until you actually get hard into that deficit, you're not actually going to see fat loss for just quite a while. Like you actually have to burn through a fair bit of energy before you start metabolizing fat for energy. And when you use a keto diet, you hit this a little bit quicker because obviously you're not consuming carbs, so you don't really have much energy in the form of glycogen. So generally you're going to metabolize fat a little bit quicker. But eating too much protein and too much dietary fat can take you out of ketosis, even though you haven't eaten any carbs. That's one thing a lot of people don't know. So don't be like, I haven't any carbs, I'm in ketosis, I'm burning fat. The body doesn't work that way. Just understand hitting your daily calories, like for your goal, well, that's lose weight, gaining weight, and look at it weekly, not daily. So compare yourself on the same day at the same time and understand that your weight will fluctuate with the timing of meals, of what you ate the day before, the type of meal, the macro. So if you ate carbs, you're going to hold on to water a lot more. If you had a refeed day, you're going to be a little bit heavier. Just understand that 1 gram of carbs stores 3 grams of water. So if you're eating like 3 to 500 calories of carbs, that's like nearly an extra liter of water your body's just retaining overall. And that might be in stubborn areas, or generally like you'll see in the belly, the arms, like you might look a little bit bloated, but just understand that's normal, okay? And like anything, life's not linear, life's crazy, okay? That's the same goes for your hormones and like hormone function, just everything in life. So just be aware of that. So when you cut carbohydrates down, it doesn't put you straight into fat burning mode. The body has an energy cycle in regards to how it goes through to actually start metabolizing fat for energy. So just hit your targets, do your daily exercise, go about your day, and just maintain focus on the end goal in regards to eating in a calorie deficit or bulking, whatever you're doing. Just focus on the goal, all right? Don't worry about any of the hormones, all that kind of stuff. That just happens naturally. What you can do is manipulate your macros to fit your training style or whatever you're doing in life. And you can use protocols like intermittent fasting and like cool things like that just to if you're going out with friends, intermittent fasting, skip breakfast, push calories later in the day. Obviously, if you have a big meal at night and you've only had one meal after lunch, you haven't had anything in the morning, you've got a lot more calories to play with that night. Generally, if the net intake of calories isn't any more than your maintenance intake, even if that meal is massive and you don't go over your daily intake, you're not going to gain weight, because obviously a calorie is a basis for energy. So yeah, so when you look at calories, just look at it at hitting targets, okay? And then if you overeat on one day, just undereat a little bit on the next day, or just maintain that current eating and go for a walk. Like do a little bit of cardio or something. Just raise your metabolism, do a little bit of extra work to burn that off. Just be aware of that. If you overeat on one day, you can make up for it the next day by undereating a little bit, or if you love eating, just throwing a little bit of cardio, or do a little bit more extra work at the gym, get a bit more volume in. So do an extra set or do a few more reps, okay? All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the edit. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I love presenting information like this and really helping you out. If you have any questions, like, subscribe, comment down below, shoot me an email, whatever. I'm always here to answer questions. All right, I'll see you in the next one.